on the East Coast and taking you back out live to Jersey City, New Jersey. Port workers already walking the picket lines early this Tuesday in a strike over wages and automation that could reignite inflation and cause shortages of goods if it goes on more than a few weeks. According to the Associated Press, the contracts between the ports and about 45,000 members of the International Longshoremen's Association expired at midnight. And even though progress was reported in talks on Monday, the workers went on strike, as you're seeing right now.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. So today we have got to talk about these port strikes. Okay, you have port workers who are striking over wages. We're going to look at that today, and also a little bit more information about Kamala Harris's father. You all know I've been following Candace Owens on this whole saga about Kamala Harris and her family and her blackifying her family for votes. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's get into it.
Here on the East Coast and taking you back out live to Jersey City, New Jersey. Port workers already walking the picket lines early this Tuesday in a strike over wages and automation that could reignite inflation and cause shortages of goods if it goes on more than a few weeks. According to the Associated Press, the contracts between the ports and about 45,000 members of the International Longshoremen's Association expired at midnight. And even though progress was reported in talks on Monday, the workers went on strike, as you're seeing right now. The strike affecting 36 ports is the first by the union since 1977. Joining us live this morning to further discuss this breaking news alert is Jason Greer, founder and president of Greer Consulting Incorporated. Jason, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
So we are seeing this in real time. For many people, it takes them back to recent months where they saw the United Auto Workers strike, right? And we're seeing these strikes in full display. Could you give us the background for those people that might not understand why this is even happening?
Absolutely. I give you background and I give you perspective, because you can't consider the UAW strike. You can't consider the Boeing strike, because those are examples of recent strikes. We really have to look at what happened in 1977 when the Longshoremen Union went on strike. The difference being between that current strikes and the past strike is the fact that Harold Daggett, who is the president of the Longshoremen, was a dock worker when that strike happened. So he has institutional knowledge and he's ready to go forward. What really this comes down to is the fact that you have the Longshoremen Union that has said, we are tired of not making enough money. They look at the shipping companies and how much money they made when they received COVID subsidies, and the union felt like they didn't receive any of the benefits. They're asking for a 77% wage increase, which they're likely not going to get. But just to show you how serious this is, the Maritime Alliance just came forward at midnight and said, we're willing to give you a 50% wage increase. And the union still said no. So what we're going to start to see, we've already seen it, is that ports across the East Coast are going to be completely shut down. That means that products, goods, and services are not going to move in the way that should.
And that's the concern for many viewers this morning, Jason. You know, I've already gotten some of the text chain messages, if you will, saying stock up on bleach, stock up on the toilet paper. And it puts you in that frame of mind of the pandemic, right? What we saw with COVID, when people were flocking to the grocery store, taking things in bulk. And unfortunately, I think we will see that fear mongering and that bulk buying in coming weeks if we still see these strikes underway. The concern is that these strikes, if they do continue in the upcoming weeks, that it will cause a spike in inflation.
Well, we already have high inflation under this current administration. Yes, and let's not forget, and I will keep saying it until the general election on November the 5th, that Kamala Harris herself, Scamala, was the tie-breaking vote in the American Rescue Plan, the budget resolution, and the Inflation Reduction Act. Tie-breaking vote, yes. And she's she's personally responsible for what we are experiencing right now. She's personally responsible. She cannot escape this. You can't escape this, Scamala. You can't, because you are personally responsible. This is not something that somebody should be saying, well, she's not the president. Well, she was a tie-breaking vote. She's personally responsible. And if you saw my video about what throwing Kamala Harris under the bus. The interviewer, when she had the interview with MSNBC, I'll link it at the end of this video so you can see it. Joe Biden was on The View and he said whatever responsibility he had, he gave it to Kamala Harris, that there was nothing he was able to do that she was not able to do. He delegated a lot of responsibility to her. And clearly she has destroyed. She's on the record as the worst inflation in several decades under this person. And she is currently wanting to be top executive of, the top leader of the free world. We shouldn't give her a promotion because she's terrible at what she's a terrible vice president. Why would we want her to be president? Okay, now they're saying that this is going to increase inflation. Inflation is already bad. People are already struggling. What else has to happen under this horrible administration for people who just want to see a so-called black woman in leadership? She's already second in command, and it has been horrible. I don't understand what people are thinking. They just want the symbol. I did a video about Detroit, black voters in Detroit. This is a young couple now, and I did a little clip, like a little headline or clip at the beginning of the video, and she's talking about how, she doesn't want there's no policies that she's really interested in. She just wants to make history. That's all she wants. And I get it. People are entitled to that. But I want people to vote on policy because history making and being a symbol or a token, which is what Democrats do anyway to get the black vote, is not going to do us any good. We already see what those tokens have done over these major urban areas across the country, that their constituency is primarily black. And these people are poor, struggling, gangs, drugs, poor performing, public schools, teen pregnancy, welfare. It's just a mess. So Democrats can't do good on the local level. Don't make them be over things on the federal level. That's just facts. Those are just facts that are inarguable. And if anyone wants to argue with them, you can argue by yourself, because I don't have time to argue with people who don't want to know the truth. But that's what's going on right now. Ports closing all across the East Coast. I live in Georgia, as you very well know. And if this lasts several weeks, we're going to see a shortage of goods. Not only that, we are involved in a couple of proxy wars under this administration. And we also have the illegal immigration problem. And they're sending these illegals to black and brown neighborhoods. So Democrats have literally given black people, well, all Americans, their ass to kiss. Yeah, I had to say it that time. That word is in the Bible. I don't think the word ass is necessarily a curse word, but some of y'all might get in your feelings today. But I'm feeling especially salty today because I'm sick and tired of the mess, because I'm just sick and tired of the mess. Kamala Harris, you need to go somewhere. We don't want you, okay? We don't want you. We want freedom of religion, freedom of speech. We want the ports to be open. We want our goods. We want higher wages. And see my video with Congressman Byron Donalds and The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club is a show. I don't know if they're trying to sneakily invent more conservatives, because they invite conservatives on the show. And when you invite Byron Donalds, you're going to get some knowledge, because this other guest on the show, Angela Rye, she was trying to say, well, that's not true. To Byron Donalds, he's in Congress, girl. Anyway, back to the port closures. This is just another example of poor leadership at the federal level. It doesn't surprise me. I wonder what else is going to happen. And Democrats are very good at destruction. They steal, kill, and destroy. That's Satan. They're the Satan Club anyway. That's what they do. And so in other news, I want to talk a little bit more about Kamala's family history. Now, I've done some videos by way of Candace Owens. You can look under my live videos and catch these. And I go live typically at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I will be going live tonight, but not tomorrow night. It is Feast of Trumpets. You all know I attend a Messianic synagogue. I will not be having a live at 9:30 tomorrow, which is October 3rd. And of course, I don't do it on Fridays anyway. But I just want to say that this is this is what Judge Joe Brown. Judge Joe Brown, as you know, has the tea on a lot of things. And he's talking about Kamala Harris's father.
The Indian prosecutor and attorney general and senator, and now she becomes black. But, I met her daddy. fine gentleman, Professor Harris. And the problem with her being black is Professor Harris says he's Caucasian, mixed Irish and Hindu. He doesn't have any black ancestors, but his Irish ancestors owned a lot of slaves in Jamaica and had them to work on plantation. So if mama is on the birth certificate listed as a Caucasian, daddy says he's a Caucasian Hindu and has no black ancestors, how did she get to be black? She went to Howard. And by the way, she told one big lie when she was talking about she got bust because of something Biden did when she was running against him. Well, the yearbook that she put out there that you can still get online from her high school in Canada shows she went from kindergarten through 12th grade in Canada, never went to school in the United States of America. And the birth certificate that she has is interesting because the confusion comes from a mistake. On the birth certificate, it lists the mother's race as Caucasian, national origin India, and religion Hindu. For the father, it does not list national origin. It does not list religion. It does not list anything about that. But where it says race, they put national origin in Jamaica by mistake. Now, if you've ever been to Jamaica and you go over to St. Elizabeth Parish, you see all the high, bright, and white that live in Jamaica. So if you go over there, you see people from Hong Kong, Singapore, New Zealand, Australia, Kenya, South Africa, you name it. It's part of the British Commonwealth, and nobody needed a passport, and you could just go in and out.
Well. You know that Judge Joe Brown has got to be giving these clefty lefties a pain in their rear ends, honey, because he's been around a long time and he just tells the truth. And he has actually met Kamala Harris's father, and her own father does not identify as black and says that they don't have any black blood. He doesn't have any black ancestry. Interesting. And you know, on Candace Owens' show, she was saying that there's no birth certificate for Kamala's father that she can find yet. And I don't think she can find a marriage certificate. This is all very obscure. So I'm looking at the man that says he's Kamala Harris's father. Now, looking at this picture here of Kamala Harris's father, this is supposed to be Donald Jasper Harris, and I'll say that Candace Owens herself is wondering if this is really Kamala's father. But Judge Joe Brown said he met the man. Now, I will admit he does not look white to me. I don't know why he would say he's Caucasian. I mean, now I will say people in other countries have a different view of ethnicity than Americans do. We just stopped doing this recently, but for decades and for hundreds of years, anyone with any black blood in them was considered black. It's called the one drop of black rule, the one drop rule. In recent years, people are like, well, no, you're not black just because you have some black in you. You're mixed. But he is saying he identifies as a Caucasian. Now, in other parts of the world, and I guess Jamaica is one of them, is that if you have, and also parts of Africa, that if you have a significant amount of white in you, you can be registered or identified as legally white. And legally white. That is the case in some countries, legally white. So I guess he's going by that because he does not look white to me. He looks Indian. To me, he looks Indian. And you can make a case and say, well, he could be part black. I know black people who look like this in my own family. I do, because we have black, almost all black, but some Native American. But he is identifying as Caucasian. And her mother on the birth certificate is saying Caucasian for Kamala's birth certificate, but her mom is Southeast Asian, clearly. So I don't know whether maybe things were different back then when you were in Jamaica. Maybe they looked at things differently. I mean, I'm just saying because it varies by country. In our country, we would have put him down, I don't know, as I don't know what we would have said. Maybe Negro, maybe Indian or Asian or something. It wouldn't have been Caucasian. There is no way it would have been Caucasian. It just would not have been. I don't really understand what's going on here with all this Donald Harris stuff, but I'm looking at the picture and I do not see my eyes don't see a white person. I see someone who looks Indian or mixed race, which means that Kamala Harris is not black. She's mixed. She's just mixed because her mother is Asian and he looks something, So I would say she's mixed. But the whole thing with Candace Owens, this woman, Kamala Harris, scamala. She's a scam. She's fake. She's phony. She's a con artist. She is identifying herself as black and hid some parts of her black family. I mean, her white family, excuse me, pardon. She hid the white part of her. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but Candace Owens is going to keep digging. She's going to keep digging, digging, digging. And I don't really know. I think this is just a ploy to get votes. I really do, guys. And I wish black people, Lord have mercy, I wish we would stop falling for the okie doke. Because Democrats use color to enslave us, to subjugate us, to keep us voting for the Democrat Party. And they've done nothing for us. All we have to do is look at the next major city, which is Democrat ran, which has mostly black people as voters, to see what they have not been doing all this time. So, and they just haven't been doing anything. They just really haven't. And I want us to wake up finally. Just pause for a moment to acknowledge C60 Evo. C60 Evo is natural organic products made in a good old US of A out of Houston, Texas. These products are great for your health, inner and outer. An array of great products. Just go to the website. The link is in the description and input the discount code ChatWithLinda or Linda B to receive your discount. You will not regret it. My skin, people have been giving me compliments on my skin, and these are great for making you feel better and younger. Thank you all so much for watching. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, the United States of America. And as they always say, march on, warriors.